Hi there. We're continuing our progress through the Proverbs, the Mishle Shlomo, the life sayings of Solomon, and we're in Proverbs chapter 14, and we're looking at verses 3 and 4. So in verse 3, we're told that the fool has a rod of pride in his mouth, and it's an interesting phrase that in the mouth of the foolish person, in the mouth of the fool, there is a rod or a stick of pride. Now, the word rod here or stick is different to the word that's used a few verses earlier when it's talking about he who spares the rod. We said there that the rod there is the word shevet, that means a rule, a staff, something expressing rule. Here the word is hoter, and the hoter means a stick. It's actually the same word that is talking about the rod that comes out of the root of Jesse. It's like a shoot that comes out. So it's a stick, really. But here it's more a stick for one's own back, because when a fool opens his mouth and he starts to speak, he might just have a stick and beat himself, because it's the big-headedness. The word here is about big-headedness, swollen up ego. And so when he does that, he's actually ending up beating himself. But it says the lips of the wise, the mouth of the wise, will actually be their defense, will actually protect them. Shomer is the word in Hebrew, shamar, and it's the word that means to protect themselves. So there's a big difference here. When a fool opens his mouth, he ends up hitting himself with the stick for his own back. But when the wise speak, when the wise open their mouths, they are speaking words that actually end up being a protection and being a defense around them. And then verse 4 of chapter 14 is a very interesting one. It says, where there are no cattle, alafim is the word in Hebrew, cattle or oxen, it can mean, where there's no cattle, the crib, evus is the word here for, or the manger or the food trough is clean, bar in Hebrew. So, ba'en alafim, evus bar, that where there's no cattle, the manger, the trough is clean. But in the power of the ox, the koach shor, there's lots of good things. Lots of good things come out, and there's lots of produce. There's lots of profit from this. There's an income coming from it. And what this is basically saying is, it's a little bit like the English expression, you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. It means that sometimes things get messy. When you have cattle around, they cause a mess. They leave a mess. And so if there's no cattle, if there's no livestock around, then yes, you've got a clean trough, you've got a clean food trough, but you haven't got the benefit of the produce that the cattle bring, or the power that the ox brings in pulling your plough or in pulling your mill. And so this is really saying, be prepared for things to get a bit messy if you're going to see something good produced. It's a very good proverb. So today, as we look at these, let's be wise in our words, because wise words will be a defense for us. And let's also not be afraid of a little bit of mess sometimes in life, because what can come from that can often be quite profitable. Have a good day.